Hello there. This video is going to be a short introduction into to the breathing system, and I will just go a little bit over the benefits of deep breathing, and then I will explain what deep breathing is, what it means, and also how you can assess your own breathing. Yep. So let us start with talking a little bit about our breathing system. So, well, of course, breathing is kind of essential for life. Like if you stop breathing, you just die. So yes, that is, I guess, primarily what it is all about. However, the thing with the breathing is that most of us have kind of, I want to say, forgotten how to breathe deeply. Because things like, for example, childbirth can just lead to the system getting stiff or not working properly, because pregnancy, the baby pushes obviously against your ribs, and it kind of restricts your ability to expand your ribs when breathing. It also pushes down, puts a lot of pressure on your pelvic floor. So a lot of things are happening during pregnancy, and then of course during birth. It is like it could be called a trauma, a physical trauma that is happening to your pelvic floor, right, when the baby's being pushed out. So all of these things can kind of lead to our breathing system getting clogged up, and since our body is a miracle and it knows how to compensate, you are not going to die because your breathing system kind of clogs up. You will still breathe, but what ends up happening sometimes is that our body compensates, and we use muscles for breathing that are not designed for breathing. For example, in most women, or in many women, it is the shoulders and the neck, which is kind of when I tell you to take a deep breath in, and you watch yourself in the mirror, for example, and you see yourself doing something like this. So your shoulders come up and your neck kind of disappears. That means that you're using your shoulders and your neck muscles as breathing muscles to compensate. And it can lead to stiff shoulders, stiff upper back muscles and neck muscles, and even to pain. And also even to headaches, frequent headaches if you suffer from these. So all of these things can be a consequence of not breathing deeply, right? As well as low back pain, for example. If you lose the ability to expand your core all the way around in your lower back muscles, then this can lead to muscles in your back, your core not functioning properly, and the muscles in your back kind of doing a lot of work that they're not supposed to do to stabilize your whole entire muscular system, and that can lead to low back pain, right? So there's a lot of things going on, and also it can lead to your pelvic floor becoming very tight, okay? And just a little bit about that. Most women who suffer from leaking and also like prolapse and stuff like that, and a lot of women, I would say most of the time, this is due to a tense, tight pelvic floor rather than a weak pelvic floor, or a loose pelvic floor, I want to say, because a tight pelvic floor also becomes weak. But that is a topic for another video. So yes, that is in a nutshell what can happen if your breathing pattern becomes shallow. Okay, so if you suffer from any of these things, the first thing you want to do is take a look at your breathing system and evaluate yourself. And then, of course, learn the deep breathing, which you can do with my videos as well. So, yeah. Now, let us just break this down a little bit, because and for me and my philosophy, how I see things is we have, of course, our body, right? And then we have our mind and our thoughts, our emotions, and we also have a spiritual aspect. So it's kind of if you want to simplify it, is those three major aspects that we have to ourselves, and you cannot separate those from each other. Meaning, if something goes wrong in one aspect, the rest will suffer. For example, if your body feels stiff and tight, and or you even feel pain, chronic pain, you just can't really move, you feel low energy levels and all of that. That will affect, of course, the way you think and the way you feel, right? And then that in turn will affect your spiritual connection with yourself, your higher self, your intuition, and the universe or God, or however you want to call it. So if something goes wrong in one of those aspects, it's like a domino effect and everything else gets affected. So it's very important that we look at ourselves, the whole picture, and not just, oh, my lower back hurts, what can I do? And then do something to just address the symptoms, so to speak. We have to evaluate our whole entire being in order to feel better and to be able to create our life as we want it, right? So let me relate this to the breathing, okay? So the first aspect is the body, okay? And the breathing pattern, apart from just being the system that allows you to survive and get oxygen in your blood flow, it also is very, very tightly or directly connected with your core. And if I say core right now, I'm talking about your inner core. So I'm not talking about the six-pack muscles or the external obliques, like, which gives you definition right here, right, in a flat abs and, you know, sexy-looking body. I'm talking about the inner core, which has to be addressed first, okay? Because your inner core is the muscular system that gives your whole body stability, okay? It has to fire properly, it has to work properly, it has to be strong in order for you, if you want to, you know, train your muscular system for aesthetics. Like, for example, if you want a six-pack, you have to first, and no matter what you do in your sports or in your training, you have to first make sure that your inner core muscles work correctly. If not, you do not have the stability, right? And you are building, it's like you're building on sand, right, on the wrong foundation. So that is, and the breathing system is directly connected to your entire internal core, okay? So sometimes it is a little bit hard to train your inner core because, I mean, if I tell you, well, tighten your transverse abdominis, you know, it just doesn't work like that. But the breathing system can perform miracles, because if you use it, it is so directly connected to that system that you can actually strengthen your inner core muscles by breathing alone, okay, or with the help of your breathing system. You can also repair diastasis recti and prolapse and things like that, just by breathing deeply and correctly and learning and doing some activation exercises that use the breathing system to access that inner core. And if your inner core is strong, you will move through your day effortlessly on a physical level. I mean, it's like you will just float, you know, and your energy levels just go up, and they go up because your body uses the muscular system in a correct way, like it was designed to, and you do not compensate, which means if your inner core is weak, other muscles will take over, right? And they will overwork. So you're using a lot of energy for this muscular system to compensate for the inner core strength that is lacking. So this is on a physical level why the breathing system is so important, okay? Now, let's go on to the mind level, okay? So for me, the mind, of course, the mind is your thoughts, right? That is where it starts, because what we think is going to eventually translate into our emotions and the chemical hormonal system in our body. This is very tightly connected. So to me, the mind has to do with everything that you think, okay, how you feel about yourself, about situations, and yes. So the breathing system, what it does is the deep breathing system. If you learn how to deep breathe, it will stimulate what is called the vagus nerve. Now the vagus nerve is very famous. Most of you might know what it is. If not, you can look it up. And there's a lot of research being done actually about the connection between deep breathing and the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve, if you inhale deeply, it will get stimulated, which means it will calm down your fight or flight response. Now the fight or flight response is what makes you feel anxious, nervous, always on edge, tense, okay? All these negative emotions like fear, like resentment, anger, and your reactions to it, they can all stem from that flight or fight response, because I mean nowadays we're not actually running from tigers, right? But we are constantly in a state of stress. Especially we moms here that have gone through loss, right, of our children. That is something that will, of course, emotionally put a lot of stress on your whole entire system. And breathing deeply is going to help you with that. So whenever you feel you have one of these days that are particularly hard, and you just take 5 minutes, right, and breathe deeply in a very conscious manner, it will calm down these emotions and these responses. And it will help you greatly, okay, in dealing and coping with those situations. So that is the psychological effect it has. And that in turn has a huge effect on our spiritual aspect, you know, our connection to our higher self, to our intuition, to the universe, to God, that feeling connected with everything and everyone else. Because if you can calm down your negative feelings with your breathing, you are opening up almost like a portal that will allow you to become calm and to look inside yourself and find that inner strength that you have, okay? So if you learn how to breathe deeply, all of those aspects will just kind of at the same time get strong and improve, which means your whole entire life will improve, because if you feel good, okay, of course your life improves. And that is why breathing is so very important, especially if you are under a lot of emotional stress and pressure. So let me just, from this short introduction, go into a quick breathing assessment so you can understand a little better what I mean by deep breathing, what it is, and how you can test on yourself what your breathing is doing, okay? So, deep breathing means that, let me break it down in inhale and exhale, okay? Your inhale, if you inhale deeply, will push your diaphragm that sits right here and is dome-shaped. It's actually a huge muscle that lines the inner part of your ribs, okay? It sits right here underneath your ribs, and it is dome-shaped when in rest, okay? So if you inhale, the air that you breathe in, imagine it just pushes down on your diaphragm, and that diaphragm goes from being dome-shaped to flat, okay? So it kind of, the air that you inhale pushes it down like this, okay? This has a domino effect, which means it just pushes down, okay? And that pushing down will relax everything 360 all around. Your abdominal cave, your lower back, your pelvic floor goes down with your inhale, okay? And then when you exhale, your diaphragm goes from a flattened position, springs back up into the dome-shaped position, okay? And on a forced exhale, your pelvic floor will contract. Your whole inner core system will contract and fire, okay? So this is on a physical level, you can access that core system with your breathing, okay? Because if you inhale and everything relaxes correctly, then on your exhale, everything can just, you know, contract and come back up. And this is how you train your inner core system, and this is how you create pressure in your inner core for stability for the rest of your body. okay? So, your inhale, the best thing is for you to either film yourself or get a mirror and sit in front of a mirror so you can see exactly what is happening, okay? Like I mentioned before, if you inhale, your shoulders are not supposed to move and your neck is not supposed to get stiff, okay, on your inhale. What you want to do, instead of coming up, okay, this lifts your whole entire rib cage up, so you're filling your air, and if you see your shoulders coming up, what's happening, you are lifting up your entire rib cage up instead of expanding it out, which means your diaphragm is going to be lifted up with it, and it keeps its dome shape. It does not press down, which means it cannot ever reach your inner core, right, or your pelvic floor for that matter. So it is very important that instead of coming up, okay, your ribs expand 360 to the back as well, okay. It's like, you can imagine like an umbrella. So you open up an umbrella, and if your umbrella is broken and it's not gonna open up like, you will have no protection from the rain, right? So this is how you can kind of imagine your ribs, they want to expand. You can put your hands right here underneath your bra line with your thumbs in the back, right? And the fingers to the front. And feel your ribs, and then inhale and try to inhale in your hands and feel your hands doing something like, something like this, okay? So not that extreme, of course, but you want to feel your fingers and your hands expand, okay? You want to feel like something is filling it out and pushing it out, okay? So when I take a deep breath, did you just see my hands move out slightly when I took a breath in? So that's what you want to feel, and you can just sit there and practice this until you feel it. Then to go a little bit deeper, you could scooch back on your chair, okay, and lean back, and then you find your lumbar curve, that curve in your spine right here on your lower back, okay, and you can put your hands right here, okay. What you want to feel on your inhale is when after your ribs expanded, it goes down and it will expand your lower back, and you want to feel your lower back move slightly into your hands, okay, or into the back of your chair, right? You can also do that laying down, it might be easier for you. But it is very important that you feel that, okay? Sometimes it helps if you put like a pillow or a rolled up towel or something like that right here in your lumbar curve, and then you imagine that you want to push into that with your inhale, okay? And then the next thing that is going to happen with your inhale is your pelvic floor. It doesn't push down, but it relaxes down. It relaxes outwards. It also expands 360. Your breath expands this whole entire region right here, okay, 360 all around. And the pelvic floor, especially for us moms, right, and especially for those of you who have suffered a prolapse at some point, this can be actually really scary, okay? So it is very important that you do not think push down, but relax down, because you don't ever want to use force with your inhale to push down anything. And for me personally, for example, it took a long time until I could feel my pelvic floor relax, okay? Because I suffered a prolapse too, so oftentimes, or most of the time, as I already mentioned, a prolapse or leaking is caused by a tight pelvic floor, which is really hard to relax actually. And you can use your inhale to practice that in a safe manner, because what you do not want to do is push, okay? You don't want to push on anything that is weak in there, or a little bit vulnerable anyways. But you just, in your mind, if you think about it, it will happen eventually, okay? In your mind, you think relax, you think like you have a balloon in your pelvic floor, right? And when you breathe in, that balloon inflates, and it just expands through the entire pelvic floor region, and it will come down, right? And then when you force exhale, when you're passive, nothing happens with your exhale. But if you force exhale, like something like this, everything comes up. Everything, the pelvic floor first contracts, comes up. The TVAs, the transverse abdominis, the internal obliques, those muscles will contract and come up, okay, while the diaphragm springs back into its dome-shaped shape. So this is in a nutshell what deep breathing looks like. Just follow me on social media, on here on my website. I have resources on YouTube. But if you want to know more about this, because I will be posting videos, and I also have courses that go a lot in depth about the breathing system and how to strengthen your internal core via the breathing system. Okay, so if you're interested, you can check that out, and please just try that out. Okay, and okay, before I end this video, I just wanted to give you a very valuable pro tip when it comes to relaxation, how you can actually completely relax within 5 minutes or less. Okay, so what I want you to do after you have practiced a little bit that breathing, and you at least know what you are looking for in your body, okay, you lay down somewhere quiet, okay, you close your eyes, and then you want to kind of, with your closed eyes, look up slightly towards your third eye, which is right here in between your eyes, like just above your nose, okay? Not like rolling your eyes all the way back, but just look upwards slightly with your closed eyes. And then take a few deep breaths, just like you practiced, okay? Deep inhales, deep breath, and nice long exhales as long as you can through your nose. Inhale and exhale through your nose is very important, okay? And then, in the third part, you want to think about your mouth and the saliva. You want to think what helps us. You can either say to yourself, my mouth is full of saliva. It flows, it feels good, and it's abundant, okay? You can think something like that in your head. Or for some people, what works really well is thinking about biting a lemon, okay? Or a lime. And if you think about that, it will automatically start, your saliva will automatically start flowing, okay? Something like that. Why these three things? The state in which you're most relaxed is when you sleep, right? And if you watch people that sleep deeply, okay, they have a very deep and slow breathing pattern. Their eyes kind of roll back in that deep sleep phase, right? And also, sometimes you kind of wake up and your saliva is all wet and stuff, and you know, it's even embarrassing. You're like, but this is what happens to people that sleep, are in a deep sleep, right? So you can conjure up or provoke a deep relaxation by simulating all of those things that happen in your body while you sleep, okay? And this will get you into a state of relaxation really, really quick. So just try it out and let me know how it works, and how you feel, and how this breathing helps you, or what you need help with, or what you would like to know about this, okay? So we can dive deeper in this topic.